A former casino floor manager just revealed something that could completely change the way you walk through a casino. For years, slot machines with the highest documented payout percentages have been deliberately placed in locations where most players will never find them. According to internal reports, this isn't an accident, it's a strategy. Here's what casinos don't want you knowing. They're legally required to have certain machines on their floors, machines with RTPs that cut significantly into their profit margins. But there's nothing in the regulations that says where those machines have to be placed. Former employees report that some of the best odds in the entire casino are sitting in corners near bathrooms, tucked along employee corridors, or hidden in sections most tourists never visit. You've probably walked right past them dozens of times without a second glance. Machine number 1. Wheel of Fortune Quarter Classic. Not the dollar version you see prominently displayed near the casino entrance, with the flashing lights and the crowd of players. The quarter version. This is the original game, and according to former floor managers, this specific denomination has an RTP between 94 and 96%. Compare that to the highly visible dollar versions that typically run between 86 and 88%, according to insider data. That's a massive difference. A regular player named Frank discovered one of these machines tucked in a corner section, almost hidden between two unpopular games in a poorly lit area near the back corridor. He'd walked past it for months, assuming the older-looking cabinet meant worse odds. Industry insiders report this is exactly what casinos count on. Players see vintage-style graphics and 3 reels instead of video screens and automatically think the game is outdated or less generous. Frank finally tried it one evening when everything else was occupied. $75 bet, and he hit $8,000 when the wheel landed on the top multiplier. Former employees say this isn't luck. It's math that casinos bury. Internal documents reportedly suggest these quarter classic versions are contractual obligations with the manufacturer, machines they have to keep on the floor, but that they strategically place in low traffic areas because they cut into hourly profits. The wheel bonus on the quarter version allegedly triggers once every 80 to 120 spins based on floor observation data. The dollar version? And reports indicate it's over 300 spins between bonus triggers. Think about what that means. Players are crowding around the flashy dollar machines, betting more per spin, waiting longer for bonuses, and playing against an RTP that's 8 to 10 percentage points lower. Meanwhile, better odds sit empty in the corner. And if you think casinos hiding good machines in bad locations is sneaky, wait until you hear about machine number 2. This one is so player-friendly that several casino chains have actually removed it completely from their floors. Machine number 2. Double Diamond. 3 reels. Classic bar symbols. No animated characters, no elaborate bonus rounds, no progressive jackpots climbing into 7 figures. Just a simple, almost boring-looking cabinet that most players walk right past without a second thought. And that's exactly what casinos are counting on. A former casino analyst who worked for one of the major strip properties revealed something striking about this particular machine. In many jurisdictions, Double Diamond operates with an RTP between 95 and 97%. That's among the highest of any slot machine on the entire floor, but you wouldn't know it by looking at where they place them. While the massive video screens and surround sound games occupy prime real estate near entrances and main walkways, Double Diamond cabinets sit in older sections with dim lighting, often positioned between unpopular games that rarely get played. There's a grandmother named Maria who figured this out years ago. She'd watch tourists feed hundreds into the flashy new games while she quietly played Double Diamond, documenting her sessions over 18 months. According to an interview with her casino host, she's one of the only regular slot players at that property who's actually up long-term. Not by massive amounts, but consistently ahead. The host reportedly said this during a conversation with other floor staff, expressing mild frustration that Maria had figured out something most players never would. Here's what makes Double Diamond so effective. The multiplier system is completely transparent. 2 times symbols and 3 times symbols, basic math you can calculate yourself. No hidden bonus triggers that drain your bankroll while you chase a feature. No volatile mechanics that create massive swings. Former employees report the hit frequency sits at approximately 1 in 8 spins paying something. That means consistent small wins that keep you playing without the devastating losses that come from chasing bonus rounds that trigger once every few hundred spins. This creates a problem for casinos. High hit frequency with high RTP means players aren't bleeding money fast enough. Internal memos from an unnamed Vegas casino chain reportedly discussed phasing out Legacy 3 real games specifically because of insufficient hold percentage. That's casino terminology for how much money they keep per hour from each machine. Double Diamond doesn't hold enough to justify prominent placement. The psychological trick is even more calculated. These machines often get positioned near sections marked for locals or regulars, creating the impression among tourists that they're somehow off-limits or intended for a different category of player. You'll see signs directing you toward the newest games, the biggest progressives, the most exciting experiences. Nobody's directing you toward Double Diamond. But here's what former floor managers admit. That boring-looking 3 real game sitting in the corner with no line of players? It's probably offering you better odds than anything else within 100 feet. Before I reveal machine number 3, and trust me, this one has a documented case of a casino actually trying to break the machine to take it out of service. And I'd really appreciate if you'd subscribe to this channel. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever walked past an older-looking machine thinking it couldn't possibly have good odds? Because if you have, you might have made a huge mistake. Alright, let's get to machine number 3, and here's where things get really interesting. Machine number 3, Monopoly Millionaire. Not the standard Monopoly slots you see everywhere with the board game bonus round. This is the specific version with the tiered progressive jackpot system, and what happened with this machine reveals just how far casinos will go to protect their profit margins. A former slot technician named James came forward with a story that sounds almost unbelievable until you understand the math behind it. He was working at a mid-sized casino when his floor manager asked him to take a particular Monopoly Millionaire machine offline for maintenance. The problem? There was nothing wrong with the machine. James ran diagnostics. Everything checked out perfectly. When he reported this back, the manager allegedly suggested they could justify the downtime anyway. But the reason became clear when James noticed who'd been playing that specific machine for the past 2 weeks. A regular player named David had been methodically tracking this cabinet's secondary progressive. Not the massive $1 million jackpot that everyone notices, but the smaller secondary progressive that sits underneath it. David had discovered something that most players never think about. Internal tracking logs, which James had access to as a technician, showed this particular machine's secondary progressive hadn't hit in 87 days. 4 months without triggering. And according to former employees familiar with WMS and Scientific Games programming specifications, these progressives have built-in threshold requirements. They must hit by certain points. Unlike the random spins on base games, progressives on these machines actually can become mathematically due. Here's the specific math that casinos don't advertise. Monopoly Millionaire's base RTP runs somewhere between 92 and 94% according to former analysts. Decent, but not exceptional. However, that secondary progressive adds an additional 2 to 4% to your effective RTP when it reaches elevated levels. Former floor managers who tracked these games report the secondary historically hits somewhere between $700 and $1,200 based on observation logs across multiple properties. When David was playing, that progressive was sitting at $940. He'd done the math. He knew the machine was approaching player-favorable territory, and the attempted maintenance removal failed because gaming commission regulations in that jurisdiction require legitimate technical reasons for taking machines offline. James refused to falsify the maintenance report. 3 days later, David hit the secondary progressive, $1,150. The progressive had been at $1,087 when it triggered, right in the expected range. This created something casinos absolutely hate. Informed players who vulture machines. People who understand progressive states and wait for mathematical advantages instead of playing randomly. Online advantage player forums document dozens of similar cases. Players reporting casino staff politely suggesting they try other games when progressives reach certain thresholds. Floor managers repositioning rope barriers to make specific machines less accessible. Nothing explicitly preventing play, but subtle discouragement. The reason this matters goes beyond one player's win. It represents knowledge transforming random gambling into strategic advantage play. Most players see progressive meters as decoration. They don't track history, don't understand threshold programming, don't recognize when a machine shifts from house favorable to player favorable. David did, and it reportedly cost that casino enough that management tried to circumvent gaming regulations to stop him. Now, if you think casinos trying to remove profitable machines is concerning, machine number 4 has something even more interesting. A feature that gaming commissions have explicitly ruled casinos cannot disable. And according to former compliance officers, multiple casino chains have actually requested permission to do exactly that. Machine number 4, Ultimate X Poker. Walk through most casinos and you'll find these machines mixed in with the slot section, looking like standard video poker, with one critical difference. Glowing multiplier indicators sit above each card position. And this is where former surveillance operators say casinos have discovered a vulnerability they legally cannot fix. The version you need to understand is the one where multipliers carry over between hands. When a player hits a winning hand, they receive a multiplier for the next hand. 2 times, 3 times, sometimes up to 12 times. Standard game mechanic. Here's what transforms this from regular video poker into something casinos actively hate. Gaming regulations in Nevada, New Jersey, and most major jurisdictions explicitly require that these multipliers remain active even after a player leaves the machine. The casino cannot reset them between players. It's considered altering game state mid-play, which violates gaming commission rules. A professional advantage player named Sharon documented her results playing nothing but abandoned Ultimate X machines for 6 months. $300 to $600 daily profit. Not from playing random hands, but from systematically walking through casinos checking every Ultimate X machine for multipliers the previous player left behind. She'd find a machine with a 5 times multiplier still active above 3 card positions, sit down, play those positions for 1 hand each, collect her multiplier-enhanced wins, and move to the next machine. The former casino surveillance operators admit they've watched advantage players do exactly this for years. One operator stated during an industry conference that it's completely legal and there's nothing casino security can do except watch it happen. The math makes casinos particularly uncomfortable. Video poker already operates at 98 to 99.5% RTP when played with perfect strategy. Add a multiplier that you didn't have to earn, and that single hand operates somewhere between 104 and 108% RTP, according to game mathematics analysis from published video poker experts. That's a positive expectation. The player has an actual mathematical edge for that specific hand. No card counting, no advantage play ambiguity, a just straightforward positive expected value that gaming commissions have ruled must remain available. Gambling author Bob Dancer published extensively documented reports of teams making consistent income from abandoned multipliers. Not gambling. Verifiable advantage play that multiple casino corporations have attempted to eliminate by requesting manufacturer modifications. Gaming commissions in major jurisdictions rejected these requests. The reasons cited in publicly available regulatory meeting minutes stated that removing carryover multipliers would constitute reducing player odds on in-progress game states, which violates consumer protection standards for gaming devices. Some casinos tried different approaches, positioning Ultimate X machines in high-visibility areas where advantage players feel conspicuous checking every screen, reducing the total number of Ultimate X cabinets on the floor, training slot attendants to reset multipliers during cleaning shifts. That last approach stopped immediately when gaming regulators classified it as prohibited game state manipulation during an audit of an Atlantic City property. The practical strategy former slot attendants discuss in industry forums comes down to simple observation. Check machines for glowing multiplier indicators above the card positions. Each one represents free player advantage. During busy Friday and Saturday nights, former floor staff estimate 15 to 20% of Ultimate X machines have at least one abandoned multiplier at any given time. Players hit a multiplier, play a few more hands, get bored or distracted, and walk away, leaving mathematical value sitting on the screen. This reverses the typical casino dynamic. Usually, the house edge grinds players down through volume. Here, casino volume works against them. More players cycling through machines means more abandoned multipliers. More abandoned multipliers means more opportunities for informed players. Former gaming mathematicians who've analyzed this phenomenon admit it represents one of the few genuinely exploitable opportunities in modern casino gaming that exists purely because regulations protect players from mid-game state manipulation. And speaking of machines where knowledge provides actual edge, we're approaching the final machine on this list. According to multiple former casino executives, this one represents what they privately call their biggest mathematical oversight in modern slot design. Machine number 5, Lightning Link. Penny denomination, minimum bet configuration. Walk into any major casino and you'll see players lined up at these machines, betting $5, $6, sometimes $8 per spin. Flashing lights, hold and spin bonuses, the satisfying sound of coins locking into position on the screen. What those players don't know, and what former game designers who worked on IGT titles have started revealing, is that they're paying exponentially more for the exact same trigger frequency they could get for 50 cents. The mathematical secret sits in the game's programming architecture. According to former designers affiliated with the development of hold and spin mechanics, Lightning Link's bonus trigger rate operates independently of bet size. On it, the feature triggers approximately once every 100 to 120 spins, regardless of whether you're betting 50 cents or $8. The random number generator uses the same threshold parameters across all bet configurations. What scales with your bet is the award values during the bonus, not the frequency of reaching the bonus itself. A cocktail waitress named Jennifer figured this out by watching the same high roller play the machine next to hers for 3 months straight. She'd work her shifts serving drinks while playing Lightning Link at minimum bet, 50 cents per spin across all lines. The regular beside her would bet $6 per spin on the identical game. She started tracking both machines. Over 1,000 spins, she triggered the hold and spin feature 8 times. Total wagered, $500. The high roller next to her triggered it 7 times over the same span. Total wagered, $6,000. Both hit approximately 1 trigger per 125 spins. Her cost per bonus, $62.50. His cost per bonus, $857. The awards he received were proportionally larger. When she'd win $40 on a bonus, he'd win $400. But the critical insight former game mathematicians confirm is this: both players received the same expected return to player percentage. He wasn't triggering bonuses more frequently by betting more. He was simply paying 12 times as much to see the same number of features, getting 12 times the award values and maintaining the same mathematical house edge. Gaming mathematics papers analyzing hold and spin architecture verify that bonus trigger rates on these games operate as bet-independent functions in the programming. Casinos profit immensely from players believing otherwise. Former casino marketing directors admitted during industry consulting presentations that operators never correct player assumptions about bet size affecting trigger frequency. The misconception drives revenue. Players convince themselves that bigger bets mean better chances at bonuses. They'll sit at Lightning Link for hours, hemorrhaging money at $5 per spin, watching the same bonus trigger rate they could have seen at 50 cents. This applies specifically to Lightning Link and similar hold and spin style games. Not progressives with bet level requirements. Not games with explicit max bet bonus rules. But on this specific mechanic, former compliance officers who've reviewed the game's registered mathematics confirm the trigger operates identically across bet configurations. Jennifer documented 18 months of play before she revealed her tracking data to other casino staff. By that point, she'd seen dozens of bonuses for a fraction of what the players around her had spent reaching the same features. Now here's what you need to remember when you walk into a casino with this information. Let's review what former casino employees and industry insiders have revealed across these 5 machines. Wheel of Fortune Quarter Classic, sitting in corners with 94 to 96% RTP, while the visible dollar versions run 86 to 88. And Double Diamond operates at 95 to 97% with 1 in 8 hit frequency, systematically being removed from casino floors because it doesn't drain player bankrolls fast enough. Monopoly Millionaire. Secondary progressives crossing $900, creating actual mathematical advantage states that prompted managers to attempt fake maintenance removals. Ultimate X Poker with abandoned multipliers generating 104 to 108% player advantage on individual hands, legally protected by gaming commissions despite casino requests to disable the feature. And Lightning Link at minimum bet delivering identical bonus trigger rates to maximum bet configurations while costing 12 times less per feature reached. The pattern former casino consultants describe reveals something uncomfortable about modern floor design. Complexity as camouflage. The massive video screens, the surround sound, the elaborate bonus animations all serve dual purposes. They create entertainment value, certainly, but they also obscure mathematical realities that informed players could exploit. Every flashing light directing you toward low RTP games represents a quiet redirection away from higher RTP alternatives, gathering dust in corners. Former casino hosts admit training materials explicitly teach staff to steer players towards specific machine types and away from advantage play opportunities. Gaming commissions ensure machines pay their stated percentages. Regulations verify random number generators operate fairly. Audits confirm progressive meters advance according to approved mathematics. But nothing in regulatory frameworks governs placement strategy, promotional emphasis, or the architectural psychology of floor layouts. Casinos operate within rules, while engineering environments, where following optimal strategy, requires knowledge most players never acquire. A former gaming executive stated during a private industry consultation that if every player understood what you now know, casino corporations would need to completely restructure their slot floors. The economic model depends on information asymmetry. Over 100 sessions, the difference between playing Double Diamond at 96% and Buffalo Gold at 87% represents thousands in expected value divergence. Multiply that across thousands of players over years, and the numbers explain why casinos invest millions in design choices that subtly discourage informed play. None of these strategies guarantee wins. Variance still exists. Short-term results still fluctuate randomly. But mathematics operates consistently over volume. And understanding these 5 machines transforms you from a random player responding to stimuli into an informed strategist making calculated decisions. The machines exist on casino floors right now. Wheel of Fortune quarter classics tucked near employee corridors. Double diamonds sitting in dim corners. Monopoly Millionaire secondary progressives climbing toward threshold states. Ultimate X Poker screens glowing with abandoned multipliers. Lightning Link cabinets accept minimum bets that deliver identical trigger rates. And knowledge separates those who find them from those who walk past. If this information changes how you approach casino floors, subscribe because casino strategies evolve constantly, and staying informed provides your only consistent edge. Comment which machine you'll search for first. Share this with anyone who plays slots, because casinos profit most when players remain uninformed. You now possess insider knowledge. The question is whether you'll use it or ignore it like everyone else walking through those doors.